Lee Taylor from So Lovely. I want to show you one of our original patterns, Blooming Pinwheels, which is a very versatile pattern. We've come up with some curated fat quarter bundles. This is one of our Christmas ones, which has 6 Christmas prints and 6 grunge green and reds. And this pattern is great for featuring some bigger prints and also offering some movement with the pinwheels. And it uses just 12 fat quarters for the top. So I've cut part of it already, and I've saved my pinwheel squares for you. So these are my border pieces cut from 2 fat quarters here, red and green. And here are my beautiful Christmas prints cut into the big pieces so we can see those when we put it together as a quilt. That's going to be lovely. We're doing half square triangles today with the 4-in-1 half square triangle ruler by Creative Grids. And this is a fabulous ruler. There are 4 ways that you can use it. The traditional way for doing your quarter square triangles is to take 2 bigger squares. We're ending up with a 3-inch finished half square triangle for this quilt. So if you were doing the traditional way, you would need to start with 2 4-inch squares. Draw this line down the middle of all your squares. Then you're going to sew a 1/4 inch on each side. Then you have to go back and cut this in half, which I can do now. And then after you cut it in half, because you started bigger, then you have to square it up. So this is obviously not measuring 3.5, but you can use this ruler to square. So there are 2 ways you can square with this. So if you want to do the traditional way, you can. I personally hate drawing the line, which is why I love this ruler, but you can square the traditional way with this ruler. So here's my seam line. I'm going to square all 4 sides pretty much at one time by keeping it closed. So there's my seam line. Here is my 3-inch finish line. This dotted line is going to line up with my seam. And look how much bigger that is. I've got all that over there that's bigger than I need. So boop, boop. I've just trimmed all 4 sides at one time, and all I have now are those little dog ears. So I can test this to see if it's correct by opening it up, putting it on my 3-inch finished line here, and I'm looking pretty good there. If I press it, I think I'll end up where I need to be on that side. So then I can cut my little dog ear off. Or I can start that way, pressing, open it up, put it on my 3-inch finished square line there, and then I would have to flip it. But you want to line up the middle seam with this diagonal line. That is what gives you your points, is by having your diagonal be exactly in the center. So if you've ever wondered when you do half square triangles why your points aren't lining up, it might be because your diagonal seam is not in the middle. But there we go. I've just trimmed using this with the traditional method. And here's all the extra I have because I cut a bigger square. Well, I'm going to show you how to do this. This ruler not only saves time because you don't have to draw that stupid little line 20 million times, but it also saves fabric because instead of starting with a 4-inch square, I'm going to start for a 3-inch finished half square triangle with a 3.5-inch strip. So this actually uses less fabric. So you're saving your fabric. So my pattern specifically uses the ruler, and if you're not using the ruler, if you're doing it the traditional way, you're not going to have enough fabric. So you need to follow the directions and use the ruler. So we are doing a 3-inch finished half square triangle. So here is my marking here, 3-inch finished, and it says right here, I'm starting with a 3.5-inch strip, which I have. So I've actually taken 4 of my fat quarters and cut them according to the directions into 3.5-inch strips. I've paired 2 together, right sides together. So after I'm finished cutting, I'm going to be ready to sew. So you can start with a nice straight edge on your left-hand side, or you can cut it when you begin, but you are placing your ruler so that this 3-inch finish line, which says 3.5-inch strip down here, is at the bottom, and this little black triangle at the top is hanging off the top. So the top of your strip should be right at the beginning of that black triangle. So I can cut, oop, there. I am ready to sew this piece. I'm going to sew down here. That's my 1/4-inch seam allowance. I'm going to go all the way down this strip and cut all of my pieces. Okay, that's what I have left from my strip. So I'm going to do that for all of my other strips, and then I'm going to go sew them all and chain stitch all of them together at one time. So I've chain stitched all my pieces together. Ta-da! That was super quick. Let's see what they look like. So here is one of my half square triangles. When I line it up with that middle line, it is pretty close to perfect already. I have this little bit and that one dog ear to cut off. Ta-da! So this is saving me not only time by not having to draw the line, I'm saving time when I square it. I only have one dog ear, so I can place this in the middle to square it, line it up with my diagonal line, and basically I'm hardly trimming off more than that dog ear. So I'm ready to trim all of those, and I'll be ready to start doing my pinwheels for this project thanks to this wonderful ruler. I'll be done in no time.